So I'm finally getting to this Frank Vogel Lakers thing. I did a whole video on Ty Lue and now it means nothing. So the easy thing with Vogel is to be like, he's a good defensive coach and he's not a good offensive coach, right? You look at those Pacer teams, besides the obvious thing of funneling ball handlers into Roy Hibbert, they were really good at not fouling, and they held down the assist numbers for opposing teams, which to me means sometimes they crowd ball handlers, they leave the right guys open, really good at closing out and things like that. And that sounds like basic stuff, but not a lot of teams get that stuff right. And when you look at this Lakers team and the size they have and the potential they have defensively, I think they can reflect a lot of those things those Pacer teams did. Now, it should be said, a lot more shooting in the NBA now than there was back in like 2013-14 when the Pacers were killing it on defense. But even so, I think you can carry over a lot of those same principles, right? Lonzo's an awesome defender. LeBron can certainly show up on Twitter and look like an idiot, but I think possession to possession, LeBron's actually not that bad. Certainly not good, but I don't think he's a disaster. Kuzma was better, had moments when he wasn't the small ball five. I think Ingram's a good defender. Josh Hart's a good defender. We're going to have to see what the roster looks like outside of that, but I think it's a pretty good foundation of being a good perimeter defensive team. I mean, they were good on defense the last couple of seasons. I mean, even with all the problems that the Lakers had this year, they were still like 12th in defensive rating according to Basketball Reference, so I think that shows some real positive signs. Now, I don't think we should completely ignore Vogel's years with the Magic, and you could maybe make an argument, oh, what the hell, Steve Clifford showed up and they finally started playing well. I mean, there's a couple things that I could say to that. Number one, Aaron Gordon, Fournier, and Vucevic all missed a decent chunk of Vogel's last year there. Also, Vucevic got a lot better this season. Now, even with all that, could you say that Steve Clifford's a little better than Vogel? Yeah, maybe. I mean, Clifford's really good at the fundamentals and not fouling, not turning the ball over, stuff like that. But I don't think Frank Vogel's a bad coach. And I think Laker fans should definitely be excited about this move. Also, for what it's worth, he's a little older than Luke Walton, which might matter when you're dealing with LeBron. If we get back to the defense before I eventually get to the offense. So, team's got a lot of switchability, a lot of length here. We hope that they don't screw up free agency this time around and they get a defensive five who can really help them out. As far as who that is, I don't know. Because then after that, between Lonzo, Ingram, Kuzma, Hart, LeBron, just a lot of guys who can defend a few positions. And Lonzo, I mean, to me, Lonzo has all defense potential, and Ingram is not too far behind him, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, I think they could be awesome on defense. We got to get to the offense, though. Vogel's offense with the Pacers was definitely their weak point. That and their personalities. But strictly X's and O's speaking, I would think that when you have LeBron, your coach doesn't need to be some offensive whiz. And assuming the spacing just doesn't suck, which of course it did this season, that can be enough for you. I know that doesn't... that sounds like a bit of a cop-out. Like, yeah, you still have responsibilities as a coach, but it's LeBron James, man. If there was ever a time to pick a coach who was more defensive than offensive, this is kind of the moment. I mean, to me, if the spacing is just pretty good, if there's a few knockdown guys, and maybe you could get a big who can knock down shots, I mean, you do have Mo Wagner, who, that's his shtick, really, then I think that's enough to carry you on offense. Now, of course, if they end up signing a second star, then there you go. Or if they end up trading for one as well. But yeah, I just think with the passing of LeBron, the passing of Lonzo, and Ingram, who showed real signs as a dude who could create his own shot towards the end of the season, I think that's enough for you to be good on offense. So, yeah, basically, I think it's a good hire. As far as Jason Kidd as the assistant, I mean, Jason Kidd kind of sucked. He was good 1 year with the Bucks, and then after that, his do everything on defense mentality didn't work anymore because everybody figured it out and they just realized, oh, if we make 2 extra passes, we get wide open threes all day. And instead of adjusting to that, Jason Kidd blamed his players and said they were not working hard enough. And also he told a dude like Thon Maker to take more mid-rangers, and it's just like, what? So, yeah, Jason Kidd kind of sucks. And it's ironic because of how smart he was as a player. But maybe in an assistant role where he's been humbled a little bit, he could be all right. But, you know, there was that weird thing about how he actually got the Bucks job in the first place. On top of, does seem like the guy's full of himself a little bit, and we have this weirdness going on in the Lakers front office in terms of Rob Pelinka apparently being like a pathological liar, or if anything, just kind of a weirdo who doesn't really know how to connect with people, and just a lot of hostility and who's running the team, and are the people running the team do they even know what they're doing and stuff like that. So I hope what that doesn't result in is pressure over Frank Vogel. I hope he's able to actually like be here and make some mistakes, but have time to adjust and all that stuff. I mean, we've seen the value in a front office really buying into a coach, right? But of course, this is the Lakers. It's 30-something-year-old LeBron, so there is going to be that extra level of urgency, but I hope that doesn't overwhelm Vogel, because I think if you really give him the breathing room, then he can be a good coach. So pretty much it. I think he's better than Ty Lue. I remember I praised Ty Lue's offense because he understood like spacing and off-ball screening for like Kyle Korver and Kevin Love and stuff. But I think defensively, Vogel's definitely got him beat there. So yeah, good hire. Hopefully the Lakers can be back in the playoffs because that's fun for everybody, and also I love LeBron James and I want him back in the playoffs. And if I can bust out my LeBron stanness for a little bit, pretty sure if the guy's groin didn't explode, they would have still made the postseason. Just saying. Anyway, that's going to do it.